Hi, my name is Blake LeVine. Welcome to the Bipolar Disorder support tape. My goal with this tape is to help those of you that are struggling with bipolar disorder. In this introduction, I'm going to share a little bit about my history and why I've went into the field helping those that struggle with this condition. I had a very fascinating young life as a child. I used to collect autographs with my dad after my parents faced a very, very rough divorce. I was kidnapped at age 3 by my father, and for 10 months was unable to see my mom. It was a very, very challenging and overwhelming time in my life. I would then go on to be able to, my mom found me, and my parents were able to work out their divorce, and I was able to have visitation with my dad on the weekends. And we had a wonderful hobby of going and collecting autographs of celebrities, people like movie stars and rock stars and other notables. And it was really a fun, terrific time in my life. And I had a huge amount of energy and would put it into finding out where people like Madonna and Tom Cruise and Michael Jackson and all these other notables were. But sadly, when I was age 15, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. My brain began to malfunction, and I would face 5 psychiatric hospitalizations. I would hallucinate and had delusions, and in fact, a top doctor said that I would not finish high school, go to college, be able to have a relationship, or live anywhere outside of a group home or a hospital. This took my mother by surprise, and she was so angry and upset that here her son, who she loved so much, was basically going to be lost to this illness. She did everything in her power to try to figure out some type of solution that could help me to rebuild my life. Eventually, she found another doctor named Amy Corrine, who was a psychiatrist in Long Island, New York, and she gave my mom a different prognosis. She said, I do believe he could rebuild his life. He would have to take small steps and follow my treatment. And we began to work together and found both medication and therapy, which allowed me to gain back my sanity. At that point, I realized how lucky I was to not have to be in a hospital or a group home for the rest of my life. I was very young, but I prayed to God and I asked for a second chance. I said, I hope that you will allow me to use my life in a positive way and that this will not be the end. I took small, slow steps to rebuild my life. And the good news is, many years later, I was able to finish high school, college, get my master's degree in social work. My mom and I opened a therapy practice up in New York, helping families with issues such as bipolar, depression, anxiety, addictions, and pretty much every other type of mental health condition. I have had the honor of writing a book called Beating Bipolar, which shares both my story of living with bipolar as well as all the lessons I've learned over the many years of being healthy. And I made this CD to give you something you can listen to help you to stay calm and to help you find a sense of peace while you're dealing with bipolar disorder. I don't believe that this CD is the final answer and that it will repair this condition completely. I do think that the way to get healthy is to find treatment from professionals, but this can be a great support to help keep your mind and your body calm while you're working on this. I appreciate you buying this CD, and I look forward to going on a journey to helping you stay calm and to understand that bipolar disorder does not need to be the end of your life. And in fact, if you take the proper steps, you can lead a joyous, fulfilling, and wonderful life, even if you're given the diagnosis of bipolar disorder. In this first section, we're going to talk about understanding bipolar disorder. Many times people have said to me, what is this? What am I going through? Well, bipolar disorder used to be known as manic depression. It alternates in different levels of either mania or depression. Mania can mean when you have a flight of ideas, you're doing behaviors that are very dangerous, such as spending large amounts of money that you don't have, taking very large risks with gambling, women or men that are not usually sexually provocative, having many, many partners in an unsafe way. and doing other types of behavior that would not be within your normal character. This is usually symptoms of what is known as mania. Now, the problem is people with this condition don't always stay in manic episodes. They can go to the other side, which is depression. And depression might mean not getting out of bed, not going to school, going to work, not being around friends, staying isolated, and possibly even wanting to end your life. They have given a horrible statistic for many years, which I am doing my best with my work to lower and eventually end. They say that 1 in 5 people with bipolar disorder commit suicide in their lifetimes. And just knowing that 20% of those with this illness will not survive is a horrible, unthinkable idea. And I want to work with everyone to know that this does not have to be the end result. If you will take care of yourself and rebuild your life, you can be one of the people that help to not only survive, but to thrive and to do well. And you do not need to be part of that statistic. I've also had the honor of meeting some people that are very well known that live with bipolar, and some of these people are running corporations. They're on television, they're in the arts, they're doing very, very successfully with this. And I want you to know whatever your goals or your dreams are, they do not have to be taken away because of this condition. And in fact, I often look at it as a blessing because I did not get into street drugs or heavy alcohol use or other things that often people might find themselves struggling with, even if they don't have a mental health condition. And I say that your life can be a powerful, wonderful, and beautiful existence. And part of it is understanding that bipolar is something you have to take seriously. It's almost as if you have a mess in your house and you keep sweeping things under the rug. Eventually it's going to be a huge pile and be very hard to go through. If you would deal with what you're really feeling and facing, you'll find that life gets easier and better, and that you can make positive change and work on the things that you're going through. In this section, we're talking about how it's all about balance. When we were young kids, many of us were on seesaws. We would see that if one child was on one side who was the same weight as another child, they would go back and forth and kind of balance each other, and it would be fine. And in fact, it would be fun because you'd slightly move up or slightly move down, and it would be balanced. But all of us remember what would happen if one of us got on the beam and there was no one else there. How quickly we could go down and the other side could go up. Or if someone really, really heavy would get on the balance beam or on the seesaw, and there would be someone of a much lesser weight. When you have balance in your life, things are manageable and easier. Part of the key steps to understanding balance is knowing when you are doing too much. Are you trying too many projects at once? Are you not sleeping enough? Are you staying up all night long and waking up very late in the day? All of these things are something that when you deal with them, they can be a challenge. Now, I understand in certain workplaces that's the way they do it, and that's fine. But if you live with this condition and you're not doing well, you need to think about other ways of handling stress. You might try to think of ways to let go and to calm down. I think that when you are calm in your mind, it allows bipolar to not take you and to ruin what's in your heart. This is a journey, and I believe that the quicker you work on what's going on in your life, the easier it will become. Try to find balance. If you were not working for the last 5 years, maybe you start by working 1 or 2 days a week. I had someone come into my office who said he felt so off kilter. His brain was racing. He was thinking very paranoid thoughts. He thought people were after him, and he was just really saying that every day was so tough. And I said to him, how have you tried to deal with this? And he told me, well, I just figured it would go away. I don't really like doctors. I don't like therapists. I don't like dealing with this. And I said, okay, I understand. And I said, in fact, I don't like doctors or therapists either. I'd rather be watching a sports game or hanging out with friends or being in nature. Going to a medical professional is not usually the most fun experience for any of us. I said, but what is the things that you're going through, the racing thoughts, the paranoia, what is it doing to your life? And he said, well, I had a beautiful girlfriend, but she ended the relationship 3 months ago. She said, I'm not stable and it's making everything really hard. I said, okay. I said, what else? He said, well, I had a job. I was an engineer at an electrical company, and I lost that job because I was erratic with the supervisor. I cursed them out when I got angry with him. Okay. I said, I hear you and I understand. Anything else? He said, well, my mom and I have always been close, but recently she's tried to get me help and I've refused, and I've been very agitated and nasty to her, and now we're not really talking. So I said to this gentleman, what I'm hearing, and this is what you told me, is you lost your job, you lost your girlfriend, and your close relationship with your mother is very sorely right now due to how you've been behaving. And he said, yes, all those things have happened. And I said to him, does this seem normal to you? And he said, no. He said, I know something has to change. I said to him, you need to find balance. You need to find help and to work on these issues. If something is really going wrong in your life, take the steps. It might not be fun, but go to a therapist, go to a doctor, work on what is happening. And the nice thing was, this gentleman, finally something clicked in his head and he said, wow, I get it. I lost everything that was valuable in my life and I want it back. And he took steps and we worked on his condition and he's now doing really well. He's back in his career. He's got a new relationship. And guess what? His mom eventually forgave him, as most mothers do. And his life is doing very well. And I share that story so you can know that if you're facing a really hard time, start to deal with it. Find the balance and know that it's okay. We're going to talk about one moment at a time. I used to work on projects like books and creative things, and I was so excited for when they would be released. I often would say, wow, once that comes out, it's going to be so fun. I can promote it and talk about it and maybe go to schools or places and educate and lecture. And someone said something really fascinating to me. They said, live one moment at a time. Don't always look for the mountaintops. There was a story I heard about a professional athlete. He always dreamed of being not only in the NFL, but winning a Super Bowl. And he became a super talented, amazing athlete. He not only made it to the NFL, but he became an all-star and was one of the greatest athletes in NFL history. And eventually, after a long, challenging trek, his team did make it to the Super Bowl. And in fact, they won and became Super Bowl champions, which was a dream he had held in his mind and heart for years and years. And someone said to him, how does it feel? And he said, it feels great. But he had dreamed about that moment for so long, and it had been such a fantasy in his head that he said it was a disappointment. He thought he would feel happier, that it would be more fulfilling for him, and that he would be on that mountaintop for a much longer time. And at that moment, it's the reason we have to learn that we do not live just for the mountaintops. I was listening to a speaker that I like very much, and he often talks about don't just try to get to the goal or the mountaintop. Enjoy the journey. I was listening to Sidney Poitier many years ago when he got an Academy Award for his lifetime of work, and he was saying in his speech for actors out there that want to be successful artists, don't do it just for the Academy Award. enjoy the journey when you're auditioning or working on your craft or going to school or being in a local play. Enjoy the journey. And I've had to learn in my own life, one moment at a time. Just think about that. Each moment can be fun or exciting and peaceful. You might look up at the sky and see the sun. You might see stars in the evening time. You might see a beautiful cloud or a tree. Or maybe have a moment with a friend where you're laughing and giggling. Or maybe your mom and dad are spending time with you and being caring and trying to help you. Or with your wife or husband or girlfriend or boyfriend or just anyone that's there. Enjoy the little moments in life, because many of us wait for those big moments, and I live here in Hollywood, California, and many are waiting until they're famous or till they're successful. But you know what? The journey and the moments that lead to a successful life are very, very valuable. And you might even find it's those simpler, easier moments when there's less stress and you have more time to enjoy your days that are peaceful and that are something very valuable. So don't ever let that go. And I know I have a 4-year-old daughter, and she's been growing up so quickly, and I love every moment I'm with her. I enjoy picking her up from school and hanging out with her and taking her to the park and enjoying it. And someone said to me, they said, my children grew up so fast. The time just flew by. Enjoy these years. Don't let them pass you by, because you won't get them again. And I really took that to heart, and I really try to live one moment at a time. Healing past pain is such a common and needed thing for those of us that live with bipolar disorder. Many of us not only face this condition and all the struggles and challenges and drama that often associate with it, but we have pain. Someone might have done us wrong, whether it was a parent or a sibling or a friend or even kids at school. In recent times, there have been all of these horrible school shootings, and I think about how sad it is that first there was a young person that went into a movie theater and killed all these innocent people who did nothing to him. And in another situation, there was a boy in Connecticut that went into a school and killed all these young people and their teachers. And it makes me realize that these people had pain, and maybe they are mentally ill, or maybe they are struggling, but that pain needed to be dealt with in a better way. I wish their parents would have helped them so they didn't have this turmoil and this challenge. And if we could prevent one more person from harming others, it would make our lives better. Because when we hold on to pain, it creates all types of struggles and problems. And we don't want to live in a society where people can't even go to school and feel safe or go to the movie theater. And when you let go of the pain and you forgive others, it makes life better and easier. And we as a society need to know that we have to let go of pain, and we have to help others that are struggling emotionally. And the next time you see someone that looks different or sad or whatever, say hello to them. Be friendly, smile. All we know, some of these people that are struggling, they just wish they had a friend, or they wish they had someone that cared. And just being friendly for a moment might give them the hope that they can put together and rebuild their own lives. I'm going to talk about opening the door to peace. Peace is something that we've heard about in music, right? We've heard "Give Peace a Chance" and those beautiful lyrics. And it's something that often eludes us. Peace seems so easy. Just be happy and calm and peaceful, man, like in the 60s. Peace, dude, peace. But why is it so hard for some of us to find peace? And I think the reason is we're not really open to it. If we say to ourselves, we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not talented enough, we failed, we beat ourselves up because we have bipolar or because our lives are challenging or we didn't do something as good as someone else, we're taking away our inner peace. We're making our lives hard and frustrating and difficult. I want you to know that you can allow peace to enter your life, but it is a choice. It is a decision to figure out how to find calm. When you wake up and you find a way to go to the park for an hour and sit and relax, I don't care if it's snowing or raining or beautiful, go somewhere and be out in nature. See the trees that God has made and the flowers and the plants, and just see everything around you, and you will feel peace. Go do something fun like a hike in a beautiful park somewhere near where you live. See the peace all around you, how the nature just is there. It's not worrying or thinking or over contemplating issues in their mind. It's just being, and it feels peace. And so will you when you're in that environment. And I can admit that it's hard to find peace when you're in a stressful job or the people in your household are difficult. But take time for yourself to have peace. Often I go in the evening times and I'll take a hot bath. And I love that half an hour I'll sit in there and soak my body and release the tension and stress that I'm feeling. It's a terrific idea to go, close the door, put the water in, and just relax. You don't have to be anywhere. You don't have to do anything. Life is good. You can let go of all the struggles and all the pain and know that you're at peace. Balancing your moods is something that many of us need to learn how to understand. In some cultures, they talk about the yin and the yang, and there's other beliefs that we have good within us and bad within us. People talk about choosing good over evil and things like this. And I do believe some of this relates to figuring out how to balance your mood. I've yet to meet a person that is perfectly happy every minute of every day and never gets upset or never gets frustrated or never has a bad moment. That to me is not human to live in that way. But you can find balance when you live in a way that you're nasty or you're agitated or you're angry or you're depressed or you're manic too much. It takes away from your life and it makes it very unmanageable. One of the best ways to balance your mood is to say to yourself, I'm going to calm down. I'm going to stop grading on the person that I'm dealing with. I'm going to try to be easier. If someone in my life is making things hard, I'm going to forgive them. I'm not going to hold on to this struggle and this emotion. And I'm going to say to myself, you know what? I'm going to let it go. It's not worth it to hold on to this. And I am going to help myself to be more balanced. Part of the key steps to balancing your mood is to follow the treatments that you've learned. If your doctor says for you to not drink or do drugs, you need to follow that. When you do these things, it changes your mood. And I've seen many clients that do really well and their lives are getting more stable and things are going good. And then they start drinking and everything goes literally out the window. I had one girl I was working with that was doing well, and she was in high school and was able to come out of the hospital and stay in school and be able to do well. And then she started drinking on the weekends. And after one party at a friend's house, she got so drunk that she fell down a flight of steps. And luckily, by the grace of God, was okay, but she could have easily died or hurt herself. And I said to her, you have to find balance. You can't go from not drinking at all. She had 8 drinks that night on top of taking medicine, and that's just not safe or healthy for anyone. So try to figure out how to find balance by not making choices that you know are really wrong and that will throw off your health. In this section, we're going to talk about talking tools. The tools you need are often the voice that you have. We all have power in the words that we speak. When you say things to other people, it makes a big impact. Sometimes putting someone down can take away all their energy and even cause them to doubt themselves. I've seen many situations where someone was told they were too fat, and for the rest of their life they held on to that belief. In my own life, I had a relative that would put me down about my weight, and for many years I struggled with weight due to that being put down at an early age. So I want to tell you, the power of words are so strong, and you have to decide how you use them. I see a lot of people that are dealing with bipolar, and they say things to those that are in their life, their friends or their parents or their spouses or their girlfriend or boyfriend. And when you are hard on those in your life, you make your own life more difficult. I believe you have a choice to build others up, and then you can build up your own life. Say things like, I really appreciate you helping me. I know you're trying to support me. Thank you for caring. Thank you for calling me today to check on how I'm doing. Thank you for helping me set up that appointment. Thank you for buying me this audio CD. I really appreciate the love that you give to me. Did you ever know that you are important and I value and love you? These simple words that you say to people can make a huge difference. I worked with a woman in her 30s, and she seemed very beautiful and talented. She was an artist, and she was very insecure. And I talked to her for a while, and I said, what are you insecure about? Where does this come from? And she said her dad never told her that he loved her. And I said, do you think that he loves you? He's your father. And she said, I guess, but why would he not say it? And it really held her back for a long time. And one day I said to her, can we bring your father in for one session to come? And she said, okay. And he came in, and he was kind of a gruff, manly man, maybe a lot more masculine than I am, but that's quite okay. And we talked, and I said to him, do you love your daughter? And he looked at me with a strange face, and he said, how could I not love my daughter? She's everything to me. She's beautiful. She's talented. She's an amazing person. She's the thing in my life that I'm the most proud of. All my years of working, all my efforts, she's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I looked him dead in the eyes, and I said, look in her eyes and tell her how much you love her. And he told her, and she started to cry. And I had the two of them hug each other. And I realized at that moment she was going to be okay. And since then, she's had such a successful life. But that one thing of her dad not saying he loved her held her back for years. So you don't need to be someone that holds others back. Tell your family how much you care. Tell those in your life that you love them. We never know when someone's life tragically ends or if we're going to get the next day. So while you're here, say what you feel and tell those close to you how much you care. This is a very important section about discovering nature. I've shared about going for a walk or a hike, but nature is something that we are all connected to that we often let go. I was playing with my daughter the other day, and all of a sudden this beautiful butterfly came over, and it was flying by us for close to 10 minutes, and it signified to me that nature is so precious and beautiful, and it was just a terrific acknowledgement from God or Source that everything is okay and life is working out. And nature has the potential to do that. When we see a dandelion or a rose or a plant or a tree or a garden, we know that something grew that. Something took that from a little seed into something beautiful. And nature is different in that it is just there. It's not talking to us or doing things, but it has a purpose. And when you put yourself around nature, you find a lot higher level of serenity and calm. I encourage you every day to find some piece of nature, even if it's just going and looking at grass in your area or whatever the natural terrain is. Look around at nature. Look at what's been created for you and enjoy it. I meet so many people that never take a moment to look at all the beautiful and joyous things around them. And when you discover the gifts of nature, it's almost as if you're given one of the most amazing things that you could ever have. And the best part is it's completely free and you can enjoy it every day of your life. We're going to talk in this section about believing in yourself. I often watch on television as certain people have such power of believing in themselves. We could often almost say it's too much. I look at someone like Donald Trump, and he believes he can do anything. He can build buildings. He can have TV shows. He can probably run for office. He envisions that he can do anything he wants, and he says anything that he wants. And I'm not saying that I like him or dislike him, but I give him credit for believing in himself, because it's often those that believe in their own abilities and their own powers and their own level of potential that see success. If you walk around saying, oh, I'm not good enough, or I could never be a writer, or I could never be an actor, or I could never be a dancer, or I could never get a good job, or I could never move out of this apartment, or I could never have a home, you are defeating yourself. You need to say to yourself, you know what? I can do anything I set my mind to. Look at me. I've been in 5 psychiatric hospitals and told I wouldn't finish high school. And here I am. You bought this CD and I've traveled the world helping other people. You have to do something that is so valuable, which is to build yourself up and believe in yourself and know that anything is achievable. What I've learned is even the hardest things in life can be done, but it's like a skyscraper. You wouldn't build a skyscraper in 3 days because the foundation would not be strong enough. You have to slowly and steadily build a foundation. I often watch and I see actors, people like Ryan Gosling and Justin Timberlake and Christina Aguilera, who's now a singer, and Britney Spears. And I knew some child actors, and all of those people started working in the arts at a very young age. They were on the Mickey Mouse Club as little kids. And while many of us were in grade school and, not really in the work world, many of them started at age 4 or 5, beginning their journey. And it's because they have 25 years of experience and they've been involved in that business for so long that they've seen success. And the reason is it's given them time to hone their talents. They've built relationships with people that work in that industry, and they've also learned how to develop their own skills and abilities. And I'm not saying that all of us have that opportunity to start something at 5 years old and to have 25 years in it, as many of them do. But it's not too late for you to take the next 25 years to build whatever you want. And this world that we live in can be something amazing. I used to want to host TV shows when I was a teenager before I got sick. And back then you had to have someone really believe in you, whether it was a big producer or a company or a network. They had to say, you know what, you're good enough. We're giving you your own show. Today it's not like that. I had a friend, a very beautiful woman I met, and I was working on a project, and she had asked me to help her with her career. And she said, listen, I want to be a TV host. She said, I'm getting older and I've been trying a long time and I don't seem to be getting any breaks. No one's giving me a really good job in this field. So I said, you can do it on your own. I said, YouTube is the future of television. More people are going to watch videos online in the next 30 years than they will be watching from television. And the difference is YouTube doesn't tell you, hey, you're good enough, you're pretty enough, or talented enough. If you make a video, they put it on there and then they let whoever wants to watch it decide if they'd like to see it. And this girl took my advice And I kept an eye on how she was doing. And she started out making one video about a cooking show that she had. And then she made 2 videos, and then 5 videos, and then 10. And I believe she's made close to 1,000 videos. And she's had millions of viewers all over the world watching her cooking show that she has on YouTube. She's been given opportunities to be a part of traditional networks, to do things with them, all because she decided to believe in herself and to know that she could achieve what she wanted. She didn't have to wait till someone gave her the opportunity. She gave herself the opportunity. I want you to look into your heart and your mind and take the small steps to believe in yourself, because even if you need to get healthy with this illness first, one day you are going to achieve whatever is in your mind and your heart, and it all starts by believing in your own self.